Hey guys, CJ here, and welcome back to another all-new character bio. Today we'll be exploring the origin of one of Batman's most beloved sidekicks, Tim Drake, the third Robin in the pre-New-52 and just Red Robin in the New-52, but we'll get to that. Even before he put on the mask, Tim Drake was no ordinary child. He was incredibly intelligent, an absolute wizard with a computer, while also displaying a knack for strategy and tactics, acing college placement tests while still in middle school. Where he was extremely intelligent, he was even more impressive as an athlete. A gymnastics prodigy, Tim had already qualified for the Olympics at age 14 and 15, and had a bright future ahead of him in that regard. But unlike Batman and both of the sidekicks that had come before him, Dick Grayson and Jason Todd, Tim was actually not an orphan. In fact, he had two loving and supportive parents who cheered him on both in his academic and athletic endeavors, one of the reasons Batman didn't want to take the teenager under his wing in the first place. For Tim, though, the life that he enjoyed was not enough. Noticing that Robin had disappeared from Batman's side in images and news reports, and that Batman was acting differently than he previously had, he came to the conclusion that something terrible must have happened to the sidekick. Of course, Tim, naturally curious and adventurous, dedicated all of his free time to discovering Batman's identity in the hopes of becoming the Caped Crusader's new sidekick, and in fact, came surprisingly close to discovering the man beneath the cowl, getting farther than most of Batman's most persistent villains. His efforts eventually caught the attention of Batman himself, and though he was impressed, he was just not ready for another sidekick and was unwilling to risk Tim's life for the sake of his mother and father. Alfred managed to convince Bruce to stage an intervention of sorts, finally meeting Tim and turning him away, revealing that all of the clues that had led him to this point were planted by Bruce himself, who had known of his efforts all along. But Tim still wanted to be useful, to help dole out justice in some way, shape, or form. So, using his computer skills, he actually hacked into the Penguin's personal account and stole his $100 million fortune to give to the poor. This just happened to enrage the supervillain, who sent assassins to Tim's house to kill him and his parents, but not before Batman arrived, saving Tim and making quick work of the would-be killers. For Tim, this event had unintended consequences that he failed to foresee, as he and his parents would never be safe because of his actions. The life he once knew and the future he could have had were both gone, and his parents were moved into the witness protection program. Bruce made a promise to Tim's mother and father that he'd take the young boy under his wing and protect him in their absence. Tim Drake would go on to fight crime by Batman's side as the Red Robin. Well, at least for a year or so anyways, because after that he'd go solo to form the Teen Titans. To briefly touch on abilities, from a physical standpoint, Tim is on par with many of the other former Robins. As a trained fighter, he's been able to match Jason Todd in a fist fight, though he prefers to fight with his staff. He's also an accomplished acrobat and is in peak physical condition given his gymnastics training. From the mental perspective, though, Tim arguably has a leg up on both his predecessors and his successor, Damian Wayne. Tim not only has a genius intellect, acing the SATs and ACTs in middle school, he's also the most accomplished hacker in the Bat family, given that Barbara Gordon is still Batgirl in the New-52, while also being the best detective of Batman's sidekicks, his skills second only to Batman himself. For all his strengths, though, he does have some weaknesses. As you may have noticed from the origin story or the little abilities rundown we just did, Tim seems larger than life, too good to be true, a little too perfect. Well, that's just the issue. Tim knows it. As such, he's developed a little bit of a superiority complex that can get him into trouble from time to time. So to read more on this origin for yourself, be sure to check out Teen Titans #0 from 2011. But that wraps it up for this week's character bio. Don't forget to smash that like if you like what you saw, subscribe for more great content every single day, and consider supporting us on Patreon for access to all sorts of exclusive goodies. Signing off, this is CJ, and I'll see you next time.